Hello viewers, welcome to LawUnplugged, and this is one of my favorite episodes because when we started, okay, so all of you know first of all who Debosmita Ma'am is, but just for the formality, she passed out from NUJS in 2009. Thereafter, she joined the litigation team in Khaitan Company, and then she joined the legal team of ITC, and she's the senior legal counsel in ITC now. So she works on contract negotiations or uh, other contract drafting or resolution. So, I mean, it is a bless to have ma'am here. And when we started, we actually wanted to invite ma'am early on, but we were actually very cautious that if ma'am would reply or let alone come in this talk show. So, yeah, so that is why it took so long. So, ma'am, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you so much, Amaya, for this very sweet introduction. Very happy to be here. I know just to be talking to you guys. It's going to be good. So hello everybody. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, perfect. So, just to start on, I really want to ask you. You always emphasize for your blog the 5 things checklist that it is very important to write articles. So, I mean, please uh, take us your time at NUJS and what is the importance of writing articles and how can a lawyer market himself by writing articles?
So in NUJS, I was part of quite a number of activities like all law students do. I was very actively involved in legal aid. We had a legal aid society. I would volunteer as part of that, and I would do a number of activities like street plays and awareness camps and all of that. And NUJS is to organize a lot of these conferences and training sessions for judges and IPS officers and all sorts of events. I would be part of the organizing team. I used to love organizing all the annual day and sports and all such stuff. So that was also good fun to be part of a team and to be doing all of that. I've always been interested in writing, so I was part of the magazine committee, and I was part of the committee for 1 year, and we brought out the magazine, and we would write for it, interview people, and do all the editorial activities. That was a very fun thing to do. I also was editor of NUJS Law Review in my final year, so there also I was part of the editorial team and I wrote articles along with other students. We would team up with one more and we write together and publish it in NUJS Law Review. That was the other thing. I did not move. Tried my hand, failed very badly at it. Realized it's not for me, so I never went down that path again. I also took part in dance and all, so basically I had a lot of fun, did all sorts of stuff. Why I put so much emphasis on writing is that, writing articles does a lot of things for you as a law student or a lawyer, right? Number one, when you have to write an article, you have to research well. We all research, all law students write so many papers and as part of their semester courses. Because we have to, and because they've written so many, it's very easy to turn them into articles, right? You don't have to sit down and write something from scratch because that is a very difficult task to do, to sit down and start typing, thinking I'm going to write an article. That's difficult to do, but you already have a first draft with you. So that's going to be really easy to turn it into a good article. All you have to do is make sure that, do some research, good research, put it in place. You will, when you write articles, you also end up, having clarity of thought. So you know that I'm going to write about this. So this is how I'll go about it. You're researching well, you are writing well. And if it gets published, so that does two things for you. You are become known as a person who writes well, and that's always a plus for a lawyer, because as a lawyer you have to write a lot of other stuff. It's not only articles, right? Lawyers write so many different kind of stuff as part of their professional life. So you end up doing that. And secondly, you become known as somebody who researches well. If it's a good, well-written article, well-researched article, then that's the advantage. That's a skill. That's a very important skill to have as a law student, which you will carry on to your work life, right? And the other thing that happens is that your focus increases. You no longer write or say anything very flippantly. You will always, be cautious when you're writing or even saying something, because you have become mindful of the topic. So you have gained knowledge in one topic. You've become mindful of what you're writing, what you're saying. So you can be considered as an expert in that area. Expert not in the literal sense of the term, but somebody who knows more than the others, right? If you've written an article on topic A, you will know about it more than your friend. As simple as that, right? So that's a very good thing to showcase. That's something you can showcase to other people. So writing articles is, I think, an activity which every law student should try to do. That's really going to help them in their CV. It's going to help them, learn something.
Right. I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, nowadays law students are asked to write around 50 research papers in their 5-year duration in law school. So I mean, yeah, why not actually convert one of them into an article or a paper? So yeah, it adds a lot to what you have to showcase, how you can market yourself to other people in the legal fraternity. So yeah, totally.
Also when ma'am, you talked about NUJS law review, so I recently stumbled upon this LinkedIn post wherein some Harvard professor had mentioned NUJS law reviews, one of the article as a compulsory reading there. So legal research and writing can take you places, right? Be it
Yes, yes.
any.
It is. I remember this post, and it is, I think, a great honor when you're. So I was the editor in the first year, like I think first or second year, I don't remember, but one of the initial years. It just feels so good to see that journal have gone places to be able to be featured in other eminent universities reading lists. That is such a good feeling, right? So yeah, of course.
And like from NUJS now to ITC. So now that you have a very diverse field of operation in ITC, you head a lot of things. You are into a lot of things, and like it's a very diverse field of operations that you are handling at the same time. But a lot of things that we are not taught in the law school, like contract drafting and legal drafting in sense. So how much do you think that an addition should be made into the existing curriculum of the NLUs or any other law institutes, so that they are able to face the industry much more, they are able to like make their stand a very staunch one.
See, I am very candid about it when I say that what you learn in law school, uh, most of it you don't end up applying when you are working. And what you need to know uh, to be able to work in your office is something that the law school does not teach you. And it is not about one or two. No law school teaches you, because the curriculum is not set like that. And I think, one option should be that you study for 4 years and have 1 year of compulsory internship, like CA articleship, that concept that is there. And with CS articleship, we should have that kind of a concept. Otherwise, unless you sit in an office and do the kind of work you will end up doing at the end of, when you join office, you don't learn that in sitting in a classroom. And it is also difficult to learn that doing a 4-week or a 6-week internship, to be very, very honest. That is something that's why it says that law is best learned on the job. That's how traditionally it's been, right? You pass out, you join a senior's chamber, and you observe and you shadow him, and that's how you learn. because nobody teaches you all of that. And the same for an office job also, a law firm job or an office or in-house counsel job. You have to do that kind of work. However, now it's not the system. So, there can be, if not 1 year, there should be an option of doing long-term internships. It has to be built into the curriculum in some way or the other. Then only I think law students, when they're passing out, they will be confident enough to say that yes, I can, take on the kind of work that I'm supposed to do. Otherwise, it will be like it is now. You join an office, you have to quickly learn, really work hard to catch up and learn, stumble along, and then catch up. Everybody does. Everybody ultimately figures out what to do. It just takes time. It takes a little bit of a hit and miss, little bit of shouting by the boss and making mistakes and feeling stressed and anxious about it. It does take all of that, but you do reach that stage.
Right, very like a very practical approach taken by you there. And also,
Yeah.
ma'am, just a follow-up question to that. It's also, I mean, like if you could enlighten us on how exactly office negotiations work and how do you prepare for that?
You mean contract negotiations?
Yeah, contract negotiations, but as in like with the client, right?
Right.
Yeah.
See,
Sorry, ma'am. I mean, yeah, this question is originated from the interview. You were saying that, okay, I have to read up a lot on electricity laws because you said that the other side was killing me. So I wanted to read. So, I mean, that originates. So, when you negotiate with the opposite party, so how does that go?
right. So, before any contract negotiation, it is very important to be prepared. So, I try to go to a contract negotiation prepared with the contract, which means that I should know all that is part of the contract. I usually know because I have worked on it. We usually do a red line, we exchange edits first, and then we get into a call or a meeting. First, we don't end up going to a meeting. Like first we do the edits in track mode, on the document. So I would have had a fair bit of an idea about the contract, about changes that I want. So I would like to have a separate list of those changes, and then I categorize the changes as to number one is deal breaker, like the changes which I definitely need to have. Number two category would be can be given up in the face of a negotiation. Number three category could be may give up only as part of a negotiation tactic. And number four is something which can agree to give up. So basically, I categorize the changes so that when the negotiation starts, and if it's a number 4 point, I can quickly say yes, okay, I agree to your point, and we can move on, not waste time on that. But if I see there's a deal breaker point which is getting very hard resistance from the other side, then usually what I try and do is kind of do a give and take barter kind of a scenario where I say, okay, fine, but you please give me this, but that point where you say that you want it, I can give that up. Kind of give the other person a feeling, okay, I mean, please don't let me lose this. This is very important to me. But you can take that other point. Those kind of tactics one has to use when you are in a negotiation. So that is the other thing that I prepared for it. The third thing that happens usually, we don't negotiate as a solo. We always a part of a team. There is somebody from the finance team, somebody from the operations team, because contract consists of so many other considerations, not only legal, right? So in that case, these 4 points, we have an internal huddle and we distribute it, and we kind of decide as to who is going to take the lead on which point, depending on the kind of the point that we are talking about. So that way we all have our roles set, that you will argue on this one, I'll take up this one, so that it doesn't become like one person always negotiating. If it's distributed, it becomes like a teamwork and becomes very effective that way. So everybody is, in the negotiation with their own points. We're all trying to push through our points, right? So that is one way not prepare for a negotiation though. And I'm sure it's same for everybody comes prepared, everybody comes with their own list, and everybody tries to score as many points as they can. At the end of it, it all boils down to the fact that you just have to make sure that your company's or client's interest is protected. That it just boils down to that. And if your client's interest is to go do the contract, it's beneficial for them, and they really want to do it, then your approach should be that unless it's a huge major red flag, my endeavor will be to move on and try to get it signed and executed, right? So that way, and if the company is there's a huge red flag and you think it's a big risk, then of course you will want to try to not argue on that point. So all this kind of all these you kind of weigh in on different points, keeping in mind your client's interest. It should never be. Sometimes I've seen in a negotiation, the lawyers especially become very emotional about, say, a certain legal point, or if he's drafted it, about his draft or his language, and they kind of they're really harping on one word or things like that. I think it stems from the fact, it stems from an ego, it stems from a personal agenda. That should not be the case. It should always be about the client. You have done it for the client, so just take into account his interest when you are negotiating. So that is what we do in a negotiation.
Right. Actually, after hearing this, I can recall one character. If we have seen Suits, then there is a character called Louis Litt. So I mean, he always gets emotional, and I mean, he sometimes blows up some contract negotiations because I mean the other party wouldn't let his cat or take the letters which Louis Litt sends. So I mean that should not happen, right? So that
Right.
clearly. So yeah, thank you for.
It's actually being hard on law. Being be hard with the law, nothing else. So moving on, ma'am. I think this question is two segments to be answered above. First of all, how do you take time out for the 5 things checklist block? And secondly, as we know, we are going to a tough time now, the Corona period. So as you said, you've emphasized on the importance of physical internships, doing a lot of internships as a law student to gain practical aspects of law. So what do you advise for the law students how should they gain the practical aspects of law while doing internship in the online mode?
Okay, to answer your question, how do I take time out for the blog? Very simple, one sentence. I wake up at 4 a.m. every day, including weekends, and I devote the weekends solely to the blog. If of course there is no urgent office work pending, and weekdays it is 4 to 7 every day. So that's how, and that has always been my solution to take out time for doing something for myself. Whenever if I think I want to exercise, I do that during that time. If I think I want to do, so I mean, it's not only that 3 hours is not only blog, right? I read a book. I don't get time to read a book. I listen to a podcast when I'm out for my morning walk, or I might do some exercise, or things like that. So it's what I call is my me time. That's how I take time out. And as far as online internship is concerned, I don't know. To be very honest, I think it is difficult to gain practical knowledge in an online internship unless you are doing the kind of work actual work. You're doing the actual work. If suppose you are in an online internship, you are given to draft a contract, or you're given a draft pleading, then of course that is the kind of work which will help you understand. If an organization does that, nothing like it, it's great, but usually it doesn't happen like that. Usually you end up writing articles with some research, or do some research without the context of the fact sometimes, right? Because you only said that you find a case law on this topic. That's so that's the kind of work. Of course, you will learn something out of it. I'm not saying it's useless. No work, no knowledge is ever useless. But the practical aspect of the work you will do only if you end up doing the kind of work the associates or the people are actually doing. So that would be something like a drafting. That would be something like being part of a meeting where you will observe the other people and how they're conducting a meeting. Uh, when you brief a senior counsel, there are a lot of it is an art to briefing a senior counsel. It's an art to briefing anybody for that matter. And you will learn all of that by observing, by being part of the discussion. So as long as you're able to do that, or as long as you are able to be part of this, by observing, you will definitely pick up something which you can use later. I mean, I'm not saying that online work internships will not teach you anything. But yes, you have to kind of, try and get that kind of a work. Try and be very proactive. Try and say that, let me help you with why don't you, pass on some drafting work to me. You please give me your samples. I will work on it. I will do the first draft. Then you can. So every lawyer likes to have a first draft to work on. It's everybody's. Nobody likes to start something from scratch. So you offer to do that. If you get to do that, I think that's a good learning experience.
Sure. Just
True,
to add
that's
on to
true
that,
actually.
yeah, please. Him.
No, actually, as ma'am said, generally nowadays the online internship is just about, they will just give you some random topics and just write upon. This is generally happening. This is generally happening, and that's true. I have also done an internship the last month, and this happened with me. I was made to do all the content writing, and yeah, that I know that's I think a disadvantage of not being in the practical physical internship where you learn
Right.
a lot of aspects.
Right, but even from that content writing, even from the article writing, if you see, you must have some takeaways, right? You would have learned something about a certain topic. You may have written, say, a 500 word or a 1,000 word article for them, but can you take it forward? Can you research further and make it into a proper research paper? You can totally do that and publish it in a proper journal, right? So that bit nobody can take away from you. So even if you are made to write articles, try and always take out the topics which interest you and go research further and write more on it. It will definitely help you.
Definitely, definitely.
Exactly. Just to add on to that, you in your recent book called "Things Law School Does Not Teach You," so you have very aptly mentioned scenes. For example, in scene one where there is a senior lawyer who gets caught in a jam, so he's supposed to go into court number 7 as well as in court number 8. And I mean some. So and also in scene two where a senior lawyer is caught in another jam where in the general corporate team the partner phone calls him and then he's saying, okay, I can't say the name, but this is the company, and so you get cracking on the NDA. So I mean, that kind of experience, that moments where you always think that, okay, how do I do this? So that way. So how should you approach that in online internships?
It's but we can see. Will it happen in online internship? Is something I doubt. It's not going to happen in online internship. It might happen in, say, when you are starting to work. You joined a place and you're just working remotely and you're asked to do something. It's difficult to honestly do that, because if you're in office, you have access to other people. You can quickly ask somebody for help. You can quickly go around, just gather some inputs from here and there and do it. Uh, that's what everybody does. In the initial few days, they hustle. When you're remotely working, I guess you have to go to your one and only mentor, which is Google, and figure out everything by yourself. Uh, yes, we online in online mode. Your Google is your best bet, and Google has every answer. So
Sure. Exactly. Google everything. So,
Yeah, he's your actual mentor in he's your actual internship mentor in an online mode of internship.
right.
So I also read this on another LinkedIn post that some lawyer was supposed to like log in say Jharkhand High Court at 10:30 a.m. Like, I'm giving you a hypothetical situation. I don't know the exact facts. And his internet got stuck, and his meeting in Delhi High Court say was to end at 9:55. But now because the internet was stuck, it delayed to say 10:15, and now 10:30 is reporting at Jharkhand High Court. And if he doesn't get there on time, then maybe it doesn't put a very good show. So I mean these problems are still there. So in online also we are not away from hassles.
Online, the biggest problem I feel is this dependence on the connectivity, and and the technology. It's not all of us are not very knowledgeable about that stuff, so that becomes a hindrance. The secondly, of course, is the connectivity issue can totally be a real big hindrance. So yes, that's of course that's definitely a problem.
Yeah, I would just add on to that, ma'am. Like even the shift to online has been knee-jerk in its approach. Like it was not a slowly deliberate shift where you were learning things and moving on. The problem is it happened and suddenly you have to shift again, shift away to another
Mhm.
platform, or the
Right.
nature of the whole interface got changed. That is where
Mhm.
people. I think many advocates and even judges were not able to cope up with the sudden change, but gradually everybody learns that.
Right.
Fine. So moving on to the last question of this segment, ma'am. As you know, like people, I've heard a lot of people criticizing, top law firms. They are known for, thrashing away their associates, like make them work long for very long hours, and some corporate politics and all. So just tell me, how was your 3-year tenure at Khaitan and Co. And what did you learn actually from that, and what are the skills that actually are they helping them out with today? Today, are they helping?
Khaitan and Company was a huge learning experience for me, because I joined the litigation team, and that's something we never learned in law school. So when I joined there, and I had a baptism by fire. I was the first day I was said, you go do this, uh, take a file, go to the court, appear, write, draft something, meet the client, travel. My first travel was to Kharagpur, 2 hours by car, to a tax commissioner. Uh, so, and when you're traveling there, of course, you have to deal with the clerk, you have to deal with everybody. There's no clerk and other people, from your law firm to deal with them. I'm the one who's doing everything there. Because of that kind of a work scenario, I had to learn fast, and that really helped me. I was told that you have to know how to file something. Just because you are a lawyer from a pedigree law college doesn't mean that you will only saunter around in court. So I would go with the clerk. So first right from drafting to getting the client signature to photocopying it, ensuring everything is properly photocopied, so that nothing is missed out, and then in fact, stitching everything. Suppose whenever we had to work on a weekend and file something very quickly, I would do. I mean, we expected to do all of that. We can't wait for the clerk to arrive, right? So, and then going to the registry, ensuring the court fee stamps there, going to the filing department, oath commissioner, everything that happens before filing, I got to witness firsthand, and that knowledge, that procedural aspect is priceless, to be honest. And then interacting with the senior counsel, I would go for briefing sessions, And a lot of time, sometimes, the first time I briefed a senior counsel, I was so scared, and the senior counsel was so sweet. He said, "Okay, you tell me. I am here too." So he kind of was helping me brief him. So and then you pick up the art, you pick up the nuance of briefing a counsel. You pick up. You see them in action. You see how they pick up the relevant points. You see how they know which are the points they will argue first, which they will not touch because maybe they are not very favorable. And the strategy that strategy that gets formulated litigation case, that's something I got to witness firsthand. The work hours were insane. Of course, in a litigation day, there's no weekend, so we'll be having conferences all weekend, late in the night, no break, nothing. Of course, it's very hard, and it's hard for everybody, right? But the learning in hindsight was priceless, and I could not have asked for a better start to my legal career. I think so what I feel is, rather than the big learnings which people kind of are looking for, that I'm going to learn how to draft, I'm going to learn how to argue, rather than that, the small stuff which you end up picking, like how to deal with a client who's very upset for any reason, right? How to how to own up to. Okay, so a personal story. I had to go to one courtroom at 10:30 for a Passover or a not today, and I had a case in another item number one in another court, which was right beside. And that judge usually sits 5-10 minutes late, so I thought I could do this and go over there. So that's what I did, and that's how you strategize, right? That here I have to go because he sits first, I can go there later. But that day I got late. So when this judge sat, the second one sat before time, and when I reached, it was getting, and she was imposing cost on my client for me not being there, and I was fairly junior. I think it was my first year or something, and my heart sank to hear that she was imposing a cost on my client because of my fault. I pleaded, I really tried, but she did not. Of course, she did not agree to it. So I came back, and I had to tell my boss about it. I was really scared about the whole thing. He took it calmly because these things happen. It is fine. So he told me that tell the client, and I was really scared to tell the client. But so these are situations, some moments which teach you, what to say, how to present it, and how to come out of a sticky situation. There was another time when the judge saw me appearing, trying to take a not today because my senior was on his legs in another court, and he was very upset, and he was going to pass an adverse order. And in that scenario, my opposing counsel said that the senior counsel, I believe he's on his way, so I think we can. I'm okay to wait. Because he said that, I got saved, to be honest. So these are moments that happen, and you learn from every such moment. So that day I knew that if I ever end up in a situation where I'm a senior, I'm never going to take advantage of a junior in this kind of a scenario, because that's a lesson I learned. So these are small takeaways. These are the skills which really help you in future. You learn how to deal with people. You learn how to talk to people. You learn how to brief counsel, and how to appear before a judge, what to say in what scenario. The small learnings become really big in future.
Exactly. I mean, it totally. I heard this that okay, litigation is more like playing chess. So which move you play, how you plan it, how you strategize. So exactly, totally.
And one more thing, just to add on, like as you said, as ma'am just said, getting all those experiences of going to a clerk, filing those cases, then jumping around those courts. I think these are all practical aspects, and as you said, this cannot and never be achieved in a law school. I feel
Yeah.
it's only about when you step out of it, or in an internship. That's it.
Mhm.
Exactly. So, okay, so I guess let's jump to the next fun segment. I mean, which is on your fingertips
I've
now.
been waiting for this.
Uh,
Yes, yes, yes.
And I mean, if Karan Johar is somewhere watching this, let me tell you, it's not your copy, right? We are coming up with something different.
okay.
What am I going to get? What is your equivalent of coffee hamper?
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what
The
is
difference between
difference.
yours and okay,
We don't give
the
out
difference is
hampers.
the coffee hamper. Okay, got it.
Okay. So, firstly, starting on, I mean, in this lockdown period, everyone is pursuing some of the other hobby. Purely, when it comes to you, I mean, you, as you said, waking up at 4 p.m. a.m. to take care of your blog called the five things checklist. But yeah, so
Mhm.
generally, which are the hobbies which you pursue in this lockdown apart from obviously working?
Mm. Not so much in this lockdown, but I am into reading, writing. I write. I mean, I not only write legal articles, I also write a lot of creative fiction. I've published some short stories, and I'm writing my novel. So that is the other hobby that I pursue. And yoga, it really helps me. And an activity which I could not do in this lockdown is swimming. And I wait for summer to come to be able to do this, but this year it's not happened. So I'm really upset about it.
I guess, I mean, each one of us has this one thing which we are really looking forward to do post this lockdown. So, yeah. So, just moving forward, in ITC, I mean, tell us two things which you really like about there. I mean, generally.
Mm-hmm. There are many good things about ITC. To be honest, the major thing which I really like working here is the fact that ITC in-house legal department gives me the liberty to do everything in-house. So I can do drafting, I can do research, I can go brief, I can do everything, of course, except appearing in a court. Everything I can do in-house. So, and that is a huge opportunity that gives me the chance to learn a lot more stuff if so that is a great thing that ITC has. Second good thing is about ITC is because of its nature of business. It's into multiple business. It's an Indian conglomerate. Uh, it gives the opportunity of working on a variety of industry, and that's what I have done, and I have really benefited from. First, I worked in the tobacco industry, then I worked for branded apparel, and now I am working a lot in the hospitality division. It wouldn't have happened if ITC was not into all of this business. So that rich experience, that variety of work is something which is cherished by I think all ITC in-house lawyers.
Nice. Exactly. Wonderful. And next thing, tell us any three things which are in your bucket list.
Mm. So I want to travel to at least one country from all the continent. Uh, because traveling really feels wishful at this time. You all wonder when you'll get to travel next. That's definitely become my number one thing in the bucket list. Second, I think I'd like to be featured in mainstream media. Not online digital, but mainstream media. I'd really like to do that. Maybe be on a cover of Forbes or something. Let's see.
Okay, let's hope that that day is not too far away. And does LawUnplugged qualify as media? No. Oh, it's okay.
So the next question being, if not five things checklist, what would the name of your blog be?
Hmm. I don't know, because I'm very partial towards this name. It came to me in the first instance and I stuck to it. Uh, I'm trying to build my blog as sort of a mentor for the law students. So maybe something like a online mentor or a TG mentor or something like that, something to do with mentorship, I might think.
Sure. I mean, I'm very happy that, okay, I mean, I've been saying this to every single guest here, but I'm glad you didn't name Lex or Just. I mean, there are every legal blogs. They have Lex or some Just or Legal Thirst or what. I mean, there is no creativity. So, yeah, very thankful of you to name it the five things checklist.
There's no
So,
law anywhere in the name, right? So it can be for anybody. That's what I say. It's a practical legal blog for everyone. So you can be a finance professional and want to learn about contract? Be my guest. I'm not restricting to lawyers. So the idea is to uh, use simple language to make it as easy to understand for everybody. That's the whole idea behind it. So I now I have opened guest contribution to the blog, and I have been receiving some nice articles, and I always write back to them with edits, suggested edits, and I say make language simple, use short sentences. These are the kind of edits I write, and I say that give real life example, make it interesting. Don't write another legal article for my blog. My blog is different. Bring up a different angle. Bring up take up a new angle to it. So that's what I aim to do.
great. And I mean, like the genre of blog that you have set up is very unconventional. So, like if I had been given the task of naming it, I would have named it with some catchphrase, right? Like "Let's mentor" or something like uh, you know uh, "Mentor India" or something of which has a very catchphrase in it. It's a very catchy title. It's not a one word or something.
I can't think of I'm very bad with catchphrase and copy. So best I could come up with the five things checklist.
It's also somewhere like kind of a catchphrase only. Like it's not something very like the blog. It's not simply like that. It's kind of a catchphrase. But anyways, it's a very unique name, and it gives a very separate identity to it. It's not just another just or Lex. It's a new five things checklist. Yes, and moving ahead. So any one law that you would want India to have, like a silly law, not a very administrative law. Yeah, some law which regulates habits or anything of that sort.
Hmm. I don't know what silly law, honestly, but if given a chance, I'd like to have a law which will make 1 year of service in the armed forces compulsory for every young people, uh, like a Korea or something. I think it's going to solve so many problems of the country. I feel all the young people, they'll become disciplined, they'll pick up life skills. All the boys will learn to cook and clean and take care of themselves. All the girls will learn to fight, so self-defense. And generally, I think giving 1 year to the service of the country, it's going to I think it'll do wonders for the young people of the country. So that's a law. I don't know what's silly, but yes, that's something I'd like to see happen.
Exactly. I mean, that was something out of the box. I think Israel has this. I mean,
No, Korea,
into,
South Korea also
yeah,
has.
yeah,
Yes, Israel has. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, also, I think there is a provision for like becoming a lawyer for the army. So there is
Yeah,
still a
Judge,
doorway,
Judge Advocate General. Yes, of course,
right?
that's there. Yeah.
Right. Yes. So that's another idea for a session with you someday.
So with this, actually, we come to the end of this episode. It was wonderful talking to you. Like we explored almost everything what we had in our profession. This has to be at least somewhere or the other, but this element of accepting everything and and then adapting towards it and then moving on. You may win, you may lose. That's not the case. But I think this element should be there, which is I feel to some extent. I think in my limited knowledge, a lot of law students are still are not learned, have not learned that they have to learn.